Welcome to Backstage with Geoffrey Morrissey. I'm your host, Geoffrey Morrissey. This is a first. We're at Boston Calling. We are on a golf cart in the Artist Village. The company is much more important, though. I'm joined by Tom and Greg from the Menzingers. Guys, how are you today?
Doing great. I think I'm doing really great because we get to ride around on golf carts all day, which is always my favorite part of festivals. It's cool that we're conducting the interview here.
See, this is the first time that I have that. I usually don't have the artist treatment. We were joking that I should just say I'm one of the 17 people in Brockhampton, and then people will think I'm more important.
There you go, yeah.
So that's what we're going to be going with. You guys, your work for the day is somewhat done. You just played your set. Who are you looking forward to seeing a little bit later today?
I'm going to go to the Comedy Tent, actually. I'm really excited to see Tony Hinchcliffe and some of the other comedians that are there. It's going to be awesome.
Sweet, sweet.
I really want to see Royal Blood and Queens of the Stone Age and Manchester Orchestra.
All good picks.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for those.
Well, nice. Definitely looking forward to all that as well. So you guys have come quite a long way from playing some old house shows in Allston. But if you want, take me back to those days. I'm shocked that a band like y'all were at one point in a basement somewhere playing a house show in Boston's Rat City.
Yeah, at many points we were in Boston and Allston playing house shows. It was a great way to meet so many people that live in the city and to get an actual vibe for the city and not kind of just pop in, play a venue and leave. You know, it's really forced personality. It's great.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it kind of worked too in the early days of touring because you could play a house show and I think people were more inclined to go even if they didn't know the band because it was more of a house party. So it's like, hey, there's just a party and there's some bands in the basement. It's a lot easier than being like, hey, there's a $15 cover at the bar down the street. You want to come? And, you know, yeah. So like the traveling around and playing house shows was always a lot easier on that end because everybody wanted to go. Everybody always wants to go to a house party, especially in Allston. So they're always like really great shows.
Now, of course, I actually will for the first time have an apartment in Allston next year. So what are my keys and tips for throwing a good party in Allston?
Don't throw a party on a Monday.
No parties on Mondays?
No parties on Mondays.
Okay.
So you're going to live in Allston. You got an apartment there. Mm-hmm. Man, honestly, I got to say that some of the best parties of my entire life have been in Allston.
Really? No
yeah,
pressure,
absolutely. Man, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's crazy. It's some of them they were just like the house. Like I was like, there's no way someone could even live here because it's just set up like a bar. The whole thing, like the living room is a bar, the kitchen's a bar. Like all of a sudden downstairs is like a dance party. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I think you'll have fun.
There we go. I'm looking forward to it. And you guys have an open invite anytime you want to come and trash our apartment. Feel free.
Can we bring all of our friends and our crew and band and everybody?
I would expect that you would.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have shore power for our?
Shore power, yeah, exactly. Plug-in might be a little bit tough. Might have to be an acoustic rager.
Yeah.
But so you guys are on album number 5 now, correct? With After the Party, 5 or 6?
You tell me.
You tell me. All right, there we go. Good.
Yeah,
good.
I nodded, but it was one of those ones that's kind of a circle, so it was a no and a yes at the same time. Yeah.
There we go. And then so once you've sort of made your first couple of records, how are y'all making an effort to make sure that you're not repeating yourselves, staying original, making sure that you're moving on to bigger and better things? Because your sound is still definitely evolving 5 albums in.
I don't think we've had much of a problem with staying original in our eyes. We don't have to consciously kind of push away from it. It's just creating and doing, trying to chase after the feeling that we get when you create something new. So kind of just with that focus, chasing after it, you don't have to work as hard to make sure you're not redundant.
Yeah, no, of course. I know that a large part of this record is sort of looking at yourselves and as a band at 30 or around the age of 30. So do you guys have any dreams or goals for this band when you look for the next 10 years? What things that you would like to accomplish, anything like that?
Well, you know, everybody, I don't know why there was such pressure and such a weird thing in my mind about turning 30 and about like reaching a decade of playing music and like, but it seems that every single person that I've talked to have all said that, like, what are you talking about? 30 is the best decade. Like, you know, you have it all together, you know, you're not like, you know, you're not broke, like, you know, not to say it, but it's just like your 30s, like you understand who you are now.
Yeah.
And I guess what I hope is that I hope all the things that I loved about the last decade of us playing music is only better because now we like can understand who we are more, we know what we want to do, and like, you know, the opportunities just keep coming in so that the next decade is just as fun as the last one.
That's a damn good goal. I like that a lot. And then so I read that this would be advice that you would give to people entering the decade of 20. Get your shit together, stop worrying about things that you can't control, and that would be the main advice I would give my 20-year-old self. I forget if that was how the...
I think I remember saying that.
You remember saying that?
Yeah.
All right, good. There we go. Would that be advice that you would have taken at the age of 20? Would you go back and sort of
You know, I think no, because I think the whole idea is that you can't get that wisdom without the experience from it. And my 20-year-old self certainly would not have listened and would have told that 30-year-old self to fuck off in more ways than one. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the whole funny part is that you can't ruminate on that because you can't get to where you are now without the experiences that you had before that. And you know, as much as I wish I could have done things better, you know, hindsight is unnecessary. So.
Of course, of course. And then, so you guys, one of the things that I love about this band is y'all 2 lead singers, 2 lyricists, the whole kit and caboodle. How do y'all make something that sounds cohesive and sounds like it's coming from one voice, for lack of better words, when you're sort of dealing with 2 different writers, 2 different personalities, yet After the Party is one of the tightest records in terms of theme and in terms of sound that I can think of?
Thanks so much. I think a lot of it is just not overthinking it, you know, like when we're all in a space together writing music, you know, a lot of what you're talking about and the themes that everybody's bringing to the table, they kind of form the arcing story of the albums. So like, we're really lucky in that, where we don't have to sit down on pen and paper and be like, okay, here's topic number 1, topic number 2. It's like we can just start writing songs, and then they almost like the next one that comes in fills the gap, because you know what's really unique about the band is that the band is like the songs have always been stories about our lives and our friends' lives and the things that we see around us. Mm-hmm. And since the 4 of us are so interconnected, it's like the story is one. You know? So it's like I don't think it would work as well for other bands that like aren't connected like the 4 of us are connected. Like we don't really have to communicate because we all know what each other are going through, and it makes the story as a 4-piece, I guess.
So it's friendship which makes you all sound special, I guess.
Certainly, yeah. I think that the amount of time that we spend hanging out before and after our practice sessions while we're writing are just as important as when we come up with the chords and song structures during the practice. It's kind of finding the song content is easy enough to just pluck from our lives. It's kind of like a reflection.
Nice. And then again, the album is After the Party. When y'all listen to this, there's such an attention to detail on this record. Is there one detail or one song that you would really like to highlight for folks, think that they might be sleeping on, or wish that people would talk to you about more?
Nothing jumps right into my mind. You know, It's really fun to listen to the kind of theories and things that people come up with for songs.
Yeah.
They'll be, you know, hey, is this about that? And you realize that you might connect one sentence from one song to another, and it's kind of like a sneaky picture that they paint for themselves, and that's always a wonderful accident, like a happy accident. I love that.
Yeah, that's always good. So this festival, Boston Calling, takes place over Memorial Day weekend. I've been asking all the bands that I've been chatting about, what is your first or favorite memory of either listening or...
Wow, you know, there's so many. I think the early memories of music is so important. I like reflect on them all the time, and there's ones that like almost are kind of comical now, but mean so much to you in the moment. Like I remember Chumbawamba Tub Thumper? Mm-hmm. Like, I loved that song so much. It would come on the radio, I would tape it, I would listen to it all the time. I love the album. You know, it's funny. It's like my first like getting into music, like Blues Traveler. I loved Blues Traveler when I was like a kid. Like, there's just funny memories I remember of like taping thing. 98.5 KRZ was like the local like top 40 station, and used to have a little boombox in my room as like an 8-year-old, 10-year-old, and just record, you know, Chumbawamba and like songs like that. So
yeah, I think that since we're on the radio right now, just to highlight that it's the technological change from then until now. I remember the exact same thing. My first memories were hearing the same song twice on the radio, or turning on the radio and hoping to hear that song come on again.
Wow.
Definitely sitting there with the boombox and taping it. Mine was, I think, Ghetto Superstar was the first one. It was like a big collaboration.
I think that was on Jock Jams Volume 2, which I had that tape as well.
Yeah. I remember just trying to get it on the radio and just waiting, calling the radio station to request it, and eventually coming on, taping it, and getting to listen back and back. Totally.
There you go. Always like to plug radio. Well, you guys have such a packed schedule. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'll make this my last question. Who are y'all listening to right now? Who's been spinning on the bus?
Oh man, there's so many. It's crazy. I'm really into this guy from Texas called David Ramirez. He's kind of like a Americana, like folk kind of singer. I love his last record. I think it came out last year. Yeah, I've been listening a lot to Charlie Bliss's new record.
Oh yeah, we were chatting with them yesterday. They're amazing.
It's fantastic. Yeah, the record is phenomenal. I love listening to it in any mood, and I've listened to David Byrne's new record a lot. which I've never listened to any of his solo stuff before, but this one's a lot of fun. It's so bizarre and strange, and at first I wasn't sure if I liked it, and now I can't get the songs out of my head.
See, yeah, you and I both, because I had never done David Byrne's solo catalog, but then the live show for this is so interesting.
Yeah, it's a wild dude.
Well, there you go. Well, my guests today have been the Menzingers. They have Pennsylvania in their blood and Boston in their attitude. You can hear that all on their new record, After the Party. Tom and Greg have been joining me from that band. Guys, thank you so much for the time today.
Thank you so much.